Hi there. I run my motor home on waste vegetable oil, and I was wondering if you have any left over that you haven't put in the dumpster yet that I could take off your hands, or if before you close, before you put it in the dumpster, if you think you'll have some.
That's right, it's the 26th of June. We're at about T-minus 4 days. Wait, is that right? We're about a T-minus 1 week until we're supposed to be on the road. And we don't really have a vehicle yet. We have inspected everything from buses to wheelchairs to go-karts at this point. And we basically decided that we really want to be comfortable, but we also need to have a vehicle. So that's the situation. The stress is high. We're on Amber Alert right now, but we're keeping our heads down, looking every day. I feel confident that we will find something. Whether it's a team of wheelchairs lashed together, whether we have to like lasso moving trains to pull our wheelchairs down the highway, it will happen.
We're gonna go on tour this summer under the basic focus of alternative fuel.
And so far we've got no way to do that. We have no vehicle as of yet. And so time is tight, the clock is ticking.
We're planning on traveling in biodiesel and or cooking grease. Mm-hmm. We know it sounds crazy.
We've got a show back in our hometown on the 11th of August, so if we can make it there by then, we'll be happy.
For example, right now, I am mending these pants, and in attaching this patch to these jeans, I am not supporting an industry of overconsumption. You know, I don't know what brand these jeans are. I got these jeans at Ross for Less, which is, okay, so they're Calvin Klein jeans. Probably the money is mostly going to Calvin Klein himself, if he's even a real person.
Basically what I'm interested in is exactly what, some of the ideas that Julia brought up, but also popularizing the ideas that are so-called fringe progressive ideas. It goes from every facet of human life: how we get our food, how we pay our bills, where we choose to live, how we choose to live, how we choose to transport ourselves. Every facet of American life needs a little bit of tinkering with if we're to continue.
I wasn't there when my mother and my father saw in each other stars and planets spinning inside it. But I know now, and I wonder how.
Well, basically we're heading down to look at a bus, and the bus is about $7,000. It's had some modifications that make it a good candidate for grease conversion.
Julia is finishing up her school year and getting her classroom all put away, and she's going to go back to Catonsville and kind of get us ready for our first show there in her hometown in Catonsville, while we are finding out whether or not this RV that we found is going to work for our tour. Okay, let's see. Let's sit down. See? This is taken out over here.
Taken out of what?
Taken out of this total. This is not the total. Oh, God. I don't know if I can explain this to you right now. This. Okay.
We only have $2,800 in the BFP account. I can take out $1,500 in cash.
Well, max it out. Write what you can.
Okay.
And what is it again? It's do you have a pen right now?
$2,800. Yeah, I guess we weren't clear on exactly how much money was in there, and
But now we know.
That's right.
Yeah, we plunked down the change, and she is ours, and I feel good about that. I think that given the short amount of time, in some ways I feel like it was fate, because I really feel good about him, and it seems like this is the best of all possible outcomes.
I'm just really hoping it's gonna just absolutely break my heart if we get to Boston and it's not the right kind of engine for them to convert, if we misunderstood something. But yeah, I'm just really happy and relieved, and like Mavi says, okay, next crisis.
I heard the war cry. It was calling.
Are you gonna see us off, Fabio? Off into the sunset?
Yeah.
We're just very limited, you know. We don't have power and influence, and how in the heck are we gonna get from New York to Colorado on no money? And so Greece, yeah, Greece is really wonderful because it seems like accessible to people with limited finances.
I mean, I think that the great thing about Greece and how, is it environmental or is it a cost thing, is that it's two sides of the same coin. And really, environmental and cost issues aside, it just boils down to, are you willing to do it yourself? You can't. Nobody else is going to fill up your tank and get the grease for you.
So I didn't actually even think about being in a grease-powered vehicle until Kate and Mavi brought it up, but it just made perfect sense with the project once it really got fleshed out.
Saddle up the co-pilot here with the 07 waterproofed Atlas and the 05 not waterproofed Atlas. Going in the pocket.
The flight of the Ladyhawke.
Flight of the Ladyhawke.
All right, Fobs.
Are you leaving yet? Jesus Christ. Bye. Yes.
See you almost October. As late as I can wait. No.
Don't come back.
Thank you. Yeah, I might not. I'll try not to. We'll see you around.
How do I scoot
All
this
right.
fucking seat forward?
Bitch.
Ladyhawke has pride.
The Ladyhawke is taking off. The Ladyhawke is taking flight. Please stay at least 100 feet back. That's a bold choice. Here we come, Boston. Here we come, Pat Keeney. Ready or not? We hope you brought your sharpest tools for our dullest vehicle.
It's really, she's got a lot of, she's a real handful, the Ladyhawke.
She's got a lot of torque.
She's got a lot of get up and go. She puts up a fight. And, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, it's really great. I'm just so impressed that she hasn't broke down yet.
We are at the intersection of Cambridge Street and I believe Beacon Street here in Brighton, Boston. And we are headed towards the Staples parking lot to meet with Mr. Pat Keeney. Pat's going to take a peek and look-see and see what we have to deal with as far as if our two tanks are going to be able to burn veggie oil in one of them, and how much more modifications will be necessary, how many more modifications will be necessary. And really we just need to know when we can start kicking ass and taking names this morning. That's how we're feeling. Morning!
It's tomorrow, but our hope is that tomorrow at this time, you guys are out driving it around.
Okay.
And we're troubleshooting, making sure everything's cool. Mm-hmm. And then, what would that be, Friday? Then you could head to Pennsylvania, wherever you gotta go.
That would be great.
We're gonna put in a pump an auxiliary pump for the veggie side. Put that. It's all the business end of the veggie side is going to be in the back. Here's the thing that's going to get stuff hot. I was telling you about. It's about the size of a brick, and you can see there's these plates and they're brazed together. And basically you put the veggie oil in two and the hot coolant in the other two, and they just, there's tons of surface area in there for them to commingle and get everything nice and toasty. And we'll put this back at the tank, so it'll be getting heat here as well. This fits nice and tight on there.
I'll be darned.
And that transfers heat to everything in the filter. And then this fuel line will run inside this radiator hose. Yeah, this is the pump. So you put, the tank, the line from the tank goes into the pump. It pumps stuff into this heat exchanger. This is where the radiator fluid's going to flow and the veggie will flow. From there, it's going to go up to this filter. And then from there, it'll run up inside the heated line to the injector pump. So this is all the veggie business back here. Now I just need to, put hoses to tie it all together.
Yeah, well, it's sort of, it's, to convert it, it requires, it's not as like, I think for anybody who's doing a grease conversion, you still sort of have to expect a certain amount of, just kind of knowledge about it, you know what I mean? You have to, because it's, it's sort of an experimental apparatus that, or it's an experimental process, and so, I don't know if just any old person with an art, I don't know, you have to be sort of interested in knowing about the conversion and, because it's sort of a labor-intensive process. You need some extra filters to kind of replace throughout the trip, because the oil, is kind of grimier than regular fuel. So we had so he bought all that stuff for us, and he's gonna kind of give us a demonstration in his basement/workshop.
You guys should be paying attention. Well, should have been paying attention the whole time, but right here, this is called cracking the injectors. So if you ever get in trouble out on the road, you just need a 5/8 wrench. And you open these up a little bit, and that lets air just push right out.
And then you're going to use the wrench, or you screw it on first with your hand.
No, you don't use the wrench to put it on.
Right. So first, with my hand, I'm going to fit it.
Hand tighten, and then
And the top of this has got some threads. It's like the filter fits inside the threading.
Yeah, you can see the threads right here.
Okay.
And then just...
So I'm going to thread it crank it on so it's hand tight. And then I'm going to use this filter wrench.
Don't put the filter on with the wrench, just take it off.
Okay. Only take it off with the wrench. Don't tighten it with the wrench.
Right.
Okay. All right, great. Okay. So use a zip tie. And how tight is that? So that's not.
It's not super
terribly
tight. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I mean, it's just kind of making sure it doesn't. Because if it were to fall, it could conceivably drag, and then it would rupture, and then you'd just be trailing coolant, and before you knew it, your radiator would be empty and your car would be overheating, and you wouldn't know why. And this is the pump.
Okay.
I expect Jeff knows this just because he was down here yesterday with the camera, not because he's got testicles.
Because he's a boy.
It's just he was under here, and for whatever reason, you guys chose not to be. But this is the pump.
Well, we had to go get your money, Pat.
Well, that didn't take all day.
Yes, it did, because I left my card there at the bank.
Anyway. Hang the tank and have them take it for a ride, right? Yeah.
All right. This is Ladyhawke. Ladyhawke number 2. Test drive around the block, numero dos. Come in, Cleveland. Hello, Cleveland.
Pat is I think he's kind of annoyed with us.
Because he's speaking condescendingly to us about how you ladies are gonna have a real good time with this. And, well, do you even know how to switch over to the other tank? Yeah, well, I didn't think so. He's just being a real snot ass.
Yeah, you guys have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna have fun. You guys are gonna have really a lot of fun.
Probably you're gonna want to just have a 5-gallon bucket like this that you can keep your pump in. So you just get your empty container, park it on the cardboard. And the business end goes here, and like I was telling Mavi, you just go right at the level of the oil. Or right, just go right from the top, because anything nasty is going to be down the bottom.
Okay.
And it just pumps. And then, yeah, you would take this, dump it into your filter, because those will last you a few hundred gallons.
Right.
If it's decent oil. And like I said, just let gravity do its thing. When you guys pull up to a rest stop or you're parking for the night, pour it in there. I mean, if it's a hot day and it's clean oil, it's going to go through there in like 1 minute. Exactly. Step 1, add veggie oil. Fold cardboard around. Sometimes it's a good idea to get a funnel.
Huh?
That should work.
Mommy, maybe could you get like a pad and paper?
Ready?
Yes. And write down like a supply list.
So head up down here. So yeah, now you want to romp on it. Like get this fucker hot. All right, so up here on the right, there's going to be one of those highway-style gas stations. I think that'll be where we switch it over to veggie. Just gonna start to send veggie pretty soon. We'll be able to tell by the smell. Yeah, it's got some veggie. Take it on the highway.
You can smell it. You can really smell it. It's so nuts. It smells like a kitchen. It really smells just like somebody's sautéing something.
Well, the sweet smell of success, eh, Pat? So long, gas pumps.
Alright, so just pull in.
Unbelievable, Pat. It's all theoretical until somebody like yourself makes it actually happen. It's all just theory for people like us. And it's so exciting to be actually driving around on veggie oil for the first time. I've never done this before.
I'm holding onto my seatbelt.
I know.
Well, I suppose at this point I should issue my standard disclaimer, which is that, veggie oil is not going to save the world. It's, the same corporate agricultural system that gives us, GMO food and, subsidized soybeans and all that other stuff is cranking out the oil that we're burning, it's part of that same thing. We're recycling trash, but really what we need to do is figure out ways to reduce our consumption and not just transfer it to some alternative. Oh yeah, woo! Did you get that blast right there?
Yeah, I did.
That's so crazy.
That's the smell.
Yeah.
That's the smell of victory right there. We did it. That is awesome.
Yes, it is. That's great.
You might get a bad batch of oil, and it's gonna burn out some filters on you, and you just got to get through it. And you'll know when your filter's clogged because the thing will run like crap. You won't be able to get it over 40 miles an hour. You'll be trying to pull up hills, and it'll just be dogging it. And then you switch over to diesel, and everything will be great. So you'll know that it's isolated on one side of the fuel system, and the first thing you do is swap out the filter. Normally, we would have you guys come back in a week or 10 days, and we would look over all the hoses and make sure there's nothing rubbing, where it shouldn't be, nothing dragging on the road where it shouldn't be. Take this right. Dave. The Break Free Project has broken free of their petroleum habit. We're out on 95, doing 60 miles an hour on the good grease. So, looks like they're all set.
Just had to get some twine. I'm going to string this up so that I can pour oil into it, the oil that Pat gave us, and that's going to filter through this sock filter as it's called.
Did we wipe out that bucket? I wiped out the white one. Let me get it. Meddling Katie Hawthorne. I wiped it out earlier, believe me, I did.
Okay. That'll do. Okay. Maybe I do need Katie then. Maybe we should put a funnel over it, just to have a wider mouth.
I don't know, that's pretty wide.
Okay, well, I just don't want to spill. All right.
Is it? Now we just need to take this pole, this telephone pole with us.
Careful, little girl, no one will watch where you're stepping. You run without your shoes, and who am I to tell you to stop? 'Cause even though it doesn't show, I know I wish I was like you. They can't live without you. I know I wish I was like you. We know we can't live without you.
We are a bit behind schedule, but we're going to try to make up tonight in Catonsville. It seemed like it was belabored a little bit. There's a noise that perhaps maybe Mavi and I hadn't noticed, or it just seems like it's not maybe running quite as well. And we saw some air bubbles. We did see air bubbles in the line. Hi, Julia. We're doing some little repairs right now. We've got air in our veg oil line, and so we're trying to bleed there's a little pump that you hook on, and so we're just trying to figure out how to do it. So we might be a little later than we thought, but we'll make a decision here in a half hour whether just to go on diesel or whether we want to try and do it on the veg by getting it done. So yeah, but anyway, thank you so much. We will see you tonight. Okay. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, I'm definitely pretty confident that it's this bottom one. Wait a minute. Oh, son of a gun. I remember him taking it off here and sticking that thing in there and pumping it. Okay, so I'm just gonna get tough with her. Ladyhawke, listen to me, Ladyhawke. Well,
I think we should call.
yeah, definitely.
Just be nice to have somebody say, okay, we're going to do this, right? Yep, that's what you want to do. Yep, go ahead.
Hi, Pat. It's Kate Hawthorne. I'm getting ready to use our Mighty Vac for the first time here. But again, I don't want to give anything a good yank till I talk to you. So give me a call back and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Give you a good yank. You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
Kittens with a mouse. You know, like they don't kill it. In fact, they're kind of afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if one of those guys would be willing to just come out.
I was gonna ask. I know.
Just be like, look, this is what's going on. We need to drain this line. What would you do?
Right. And there were quite a few bubbles, kind of big ones, like maybe 5 inches long. And we'll just kind of keep you posted till we get to be a little bit more pro at everything. But I appreciate your info, Pat. Thanks so much. I just talked to Pat, and I asked him of the 2 clamps next to the solenoid, the one next to the clear hose, or the one right up next to the solenoid, which is it? And he said it's the one right up next to the solenoid. So we are going for that one.
Should I maybe get a glove and pull?
Yeah, yes. Here's a glove. Take that one.
That's right. Yep, just like that. Perfect. Okay, now get your 5-gallon bucket and pull it up here. Oh, okay. Wow, that was just right. Okay. Good job, Mavi. Wow, I'm really impressed with that. That worked really well. How come we didn't think of that before? All right, aviators, are we ready? Let's go. Here it comes. Air be gone, air be gone, air be gone. And he said just to stick it into the 5-gallon bucket when we're done if air's still coming through there. It is. I think we should drive it on diesel a bit and then switch it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
See what happens. This song is called Boy.
Thank you again so much for coming. Again, our first tour day here in Catonsville. It's really a great flagship.
It's so nice of you to stay after school. But boy, don't think I don't know what you're up to.
I think that having the 4th of July surround our launch is a almost paradoxical symbol for the trip, because here we are celebrating independence from fossil fuels, but it's kind of clouded by this culture of American patriotism that really makes me feel kind of dependent upon them.
There's something wrong with the RV because it's making that noise that Mavi explained, the kind of sort of stuttering, like you're about to run out of gas sort of noise. And I don't know, I think there's air in the line, and I think it'll probably help if we bleed the line. Like what if we stick the Mighty Vac on the wrong hose and we're sucking diesel out, you know? We have to do something, and I don't know, I don't have any clue. We're not going to be able to do this all across the country.
When I think about what the 4th of July is originally intended to celebrate, I feel very proud of our country's history. And I hope that the Break Free Project can maintain what that ultimate goal was, which is to be able to think for yourself and do what you think is the right thing. Well, you want to get in it for just down the road and then get out?
No.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not an official member of the
So the grease we got last night is pretty rancid and it smells like sheep.
Julia took us to this restaurant, and so we opened it up, and it's just this cesspit of, like, I don't know what, just scum and bread and meat. God, I think we messed up with that oil. We were sort of under the gun, and so we just hastily pumped, not knowing what we were doing, and oh, it smells like dust.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh man. That's enough to make bark.
Yeah. This is a
Well, we took some.
a perfect example of what we don't want.
Yes. Yep. That is cream chip beef with.
Yep, that's exactly what that is.
It kind of looks like Menzies coming out at the end there, like. Yep. Oh, there's that extra.
Look at that. Is that French fries or fat or what?
I don't know. All of a sudden, my throat's sort of sore.
Poor Julia.
Is it still on? Mostly. Our friend just said that there's a place down here that we could probably get grease at in the shopping center.
I was in a typical place yesterday morning. I woke up to find myself a naked cocoon.
cute world.
This is
what we're looking for.
We're probably good.
Yeah, we can open it ourselves. How's it look?
Looked in the mirror, wiped the sleepers from my eyes. Took a shower, washed away the
looks
night
better.
dreaming.
That looks way better.
But what you said to me so lingered in my mind.
Let me get my nose in there.
Now I'm the kind of person you like to
that
meet.
smells so much
You were having
better.
trouble
Oh
getting
my
on your feet, but I'm
Oh, there
not
it
going
goes.
to
Oh, that's
try to
looking
convince you.
mighty nice.
But I can use my right
Yeah,
and left eye when I wink, and I go to the faucet when I want to drink. But I'm not going to try to convince you.
Do people usually come and take it for you? Yeah.
Packed my bags and got myself onto the bus stop.
There's something about the Ladyhawke that makes me feel like she's gonna get to Georgia somehow, some way,
Used to ride together
on
every
time.
morning. You used to tell me that you
I
loved
can
me just
see
because
right now that
the people riding
Mavi and Kate have been running on no sleep, basically, leading up to getting down to Georgia.
You gotta go a little further than you think
Then I say before I start turning. Good.
that's in general.
Okay. Thank you, Jenny.
Eavesdropper. Now I'm the kind of person who would love to get some lonely people laughing till their face
I'll
turn
pull into
red,
that
but
shady
I'm
one over
not
there.
going to try to convince you. But I would love to see you in a little while.
And kind of, yep. Give it a good crack.
And then do I pull it from here, or?
You pull it and just give it a good whack. Sounds really it, and then.
Well, as we know, we have bubbles in our vegetable oil line, and so Pat advised us to just go around and check all the clamps and just make sure they're all tight. And so we kind of went into the auxiliary tank where the vegetable oil is kept, and you kind of have to reach around the supports that hold the tank in place and kind of feel the lines that exit there. And when I was feeling those, one of the hoses right around the clamp felt a little bit frayed. Katie and I meticulously wrapped it with some duct tape.
Should we try actually having a tour on veggie oil?
Ooh, this is like a fast orange bath. Ladies love fast orange.
Hi Pat, this is Mavi, and we were still having bubble issues, and so we went ahead and changed the filter like you said, and then we had instant success after we changed the filter. For about 30 miles it was going perfectly, and then we started to have bubbles again. So I guess we'll try to run through the bubbles and see if maybe it's just a fluke, but we're wondering if maybe we should be filtering the oil twice or 3 times possibly through the filter, if that's maybe the problem. Sock filter. So through the sock filter, that is. And so yeah, give me a call. Bye.
We have 24 hours to get to Georgia, to get to Athens, and we're debating whether we should. I don't know. Should we run through the vegetable oil even though we have bubbles in it, or should we just stick straight diesel so we can make the time?
It's all well and good to take the easy way out, you know, and that's why I just get a bad feel. I mean, I want to do the show in Little Kings, but I also feel like buying diesel is a problem. You know, it's easy and it's available, and it's like anybody can do that. Anybody can do it, and I feel like for us to give in and say, okay, we'll just buy a tank of diesel and we'll do it. You know, it's like that's what millions of Americans do every day. It's like, well, I could do things differently. I could ride my bike. Yeah. Oh, but I'm just gonna go to the gas pump. It's expensive as hell, but I need to get from point A to point B, so fuck it.
I think we could do it on just on veg, even if it's suffering and weird. I mean, even if we're just in a slow lane with our hazards on.
I think today, even though it was like a lot of like crazy shit, it was also like, to me, a really shining example of what we're trying to do. You know, people and talk to them. I mean, not a shining example, but not a bad example. But, you know,
Not a waste. Not at all. I guess, point is, it was a good day. And as long as we can make it to the show, I consider the last few days a storming success. And if we can do as much as possible on grease, even though it might be tedious, slow going, I think we should, even to Georgia.
We're at Petersburg, Virginia, I believe.
We have isolated that the problem is tank, pump, filter related and line related. There's a combination of factors. We think that the fuel is just not reaching the front without collecting air, and we think it's because maybe there's a pump discrepancy in the pump strength between the solenoid and the back pump. Also, when we changed the filter before, about 30 miles, 50 miles ago, it ran beautifully for 30 miles, and then the last 20 have just been limping along.
Okay.
The other thing you might try is, installing a little inline pre-filter. And those are real easy to get. You can buy them at any auto parts place, and put the pre-filter before the big filter in the black fuel line. You just have to cut it and then clamp it in there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Have a good evening.
Okay.
Bye.
Alrighty then.
Clearly took his.
Nice pill. Happy pill.
Even on the scroungy old interstate, it's so pretty. We are behind schedule because of our vehicle issues. We had hoped to stop in Asheville and have it looked at. So in lieu of that, Mavi got under the back and changed the filter again. So pretty shortly here, if I can get out of this traffic in a reasonable time, we'll go ahead and switch it over to veg. It's about 1 o'clock. We need to be there around 5. It's about 180 miles. So we're pretty confident we can make it, barring any disasters. I'm gonna switch it to veg. Okay, y'all ready for this? So far, so good. Oh, nope. Uh-oh.
Your mother said
Still there?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I know.
Lord, here's one coming.
Alright.
Third time's a charm.
Something feels weird. It doesn't feel. It's my thing is locked.
I'm sure that it's in the park and everything.
Are you started on diesel?
You
Yep.
switched over.
It is over from.
Oh, that was close. There we go. Nice work. Good going. You got it. All right.
So the problem is that we're really low on diesel right now. And that veg stalled us out. So
Okay, this is Lowndsville. And we're getting close to Athens. Yeah, we're about 40 miles out.
back on
72.
Hello. This is Julia. We're actually, to give you just a few more details, my roommates and I are in a grease-powered RV. Oh, sorry. The Break Free Project.
There's a sign up here.
We got Texas. Cool.
Okay, I think this is right. I think
this is right.
I think keep going straight on keep going on 81.
Come on.
It's this really cool place called Cafe Caffeine, and it's in Austin. And got it. All right. And this leads us straight into Athens.
I did veg a little bit and then diesel. It's still running okay. I don't want to lose any time. Right now it's about time.
As a shadow of blood running through your clear veins, for the love in my heart, I'll remove the red stains. Said the medicine living in me will provide all the thoughts in your head, with the will to survive. I said the medicine living in me will provide all the songs in your heart. With the will to survive. Ooh, no. Ooh.
It's will to survive.
All I can hear is this diesel. No, down of 20-mile-per-hour turns. Wow, hold on to your fucking tushes. Hold on to your fucking fannies.
It's not
There,
oh,
yeah,
it
there
is. It's a Little King's Shuffle Club.
I see it.
When you're living in a river and the fish are watching you, it's like watching lovers dreaming in a world they never knew. 'Cause despite what others tell you, you forget what you remember. And the fish, well, they'll forget you too when they freeze next December. Oh, the magical, wonderful, fanciful, beautiful skin of their skin shining in starlight for no one to see but their other fish friends. Whispers of watery oceans and lakes can be heard from the cool, smooth stones as they coax all the fish into finding their next quiet home. When you're climbing up a holly and the leaves scratch at your shoulders, it's like knowing that you're happy even though you're getting older. 'Cause despite what others tell you, everybody feels the same. Doesn't matter what your age is, every soul has felt some pain. Oh, the magical, wonderful, fanciful, beautiful things on their leaves, all the berries attached to them, stain my shirt sleeves, color so bright, I wish for more of a tree to climb, to remind myself of the timelessness of time. Good tree, good tree, good tree, good tree, good fish, good fish, good fish, good fish. Thank you, kids. Thank you.
We're actually going to install a Wix filter, I should say, which we've been meaning to do for a long time. This is going to be a pre-filter, so we can hopefully get more mileage out of our $10 filters. So this will be between the tank and this first filter. Wix, the #1 filter in NASCAR, the #1 filter for your car, truck, or SUV, or your Ladyhawke.
Hi Pat, this is Mavi. We are getting ready to put in the Wix filter, and we're deliberating whether we should put it before the heating brick or after. Give me a call as soon as you can, or give Kate's phone a call. Talk to you soon.
Okay, well then I say let's just do it here. Okay, so I think we've determined we're going to do it right here. So here we go. Woo-hoo-hoo. We'll go with the motion of the arrow. Not that that really makes a lot of difference, but it actually works pretty easily. I'm sort of surprised.
Come on, motor skills. And turn. And turn.
Okay,
All right.
substantially.
That's looking pretty good.
And when I cross your shadow, must I make a run for my life? I lost my love in a fiery
I started to wonder if New Orleans was going to be a safe place to be, because I mean, the way the auto parts store guys talked, they were like, "Oh, we don't have a store down there," you know, and it made you feel like civilization had kind of cranked to a stop down there.
I'm feeling kind of for the first time a little bit burned out from being on the road.
This trip has proven to have some challenges that just make you question your purpose. So when we got to the French Quarter RV Resort, we needed to get all of the paper and pay for the night ahead of time in the main office. And what Kate and I got into a conversation with the guy who was basically the concierge in the French Quarter, and he started to tell us that he was from St. Bernard's Parish, and that, you know, he was trying to tell us a story about Katrina, and we kind of looked at each other and went, "Hey, are you busy in the next couple of days?"
My name's Corey Michael Kosay. I'm 52 years old. Lived in New Orleans my whole life. Born and raised here. Raised two family. Lived at 2500 Pecan Drive, St. Chalmette, Louisiana. Now I'm in 609 Hickory Avenue, Harahan, Louisiana. And I'm not going away. I come back to take care of my setting. You know? This is my home. It don't look that good, but it looked a lot nicer before. But this is a storm. I had a storm door here. And when I came, I was sitting here. This is I was sitting in the living room watching TV. This is where the sludge first came in the door here. The door was closed, and the water was pouring in around this high, and the black sludge came in. Well, when I stood up in my chair, I could see my sliding glass door was here, and I saw 4 foot of water, 3 foot of water right on the storm doors. The storm doors holding the water out right here. I woke my daughter up, and that's when we got out. We were left out here by ourselves. And I'm proud of St. Bernard people because we all stuck together and we help each other. There's pockets of stuff coming back, you know. It's real sparse. I find my city will never be the same. It'll never be the same. I don't think we'll ever recover from this. It's hard for me to look at this. This is the levee that broke up here. Bring it right to it.
That says it all. Wow.
That's where the levee broke. This is all new. I was back in rolling in.
So what we're looking at here,
This is the original height. So that's how much they raised it. About 3 feet.
When's the last time you came here?
Oh, I haven't been here in years.
How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, it's just kind of overwhelmed, you know. It's almost surreal, you know. I don't know if this would have helped us if it was like this for about, I don't know if it would have helped us.
We don't have any plan. And good people like you have been coming into our lives in the last.
Thank you. I got 2 ex-wives might disagree with you, though, about being nice. But, yeah.
104.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a Olay and beignet. Do you want one? So I'm sitting here at the Cafe du Monde, the original French market coffee stand, as the sign proclaims. And I'm having a cafe au lait and some beignets, which are, I asked around, I was like, are they similar to funnel cakes? And they were like, kind of, but the beignets are like 1,000 times better, which, okay, they're 100 times better. And my mom was like, you have to go get the beignets at the Cafe du Monde. And so here I am, Mom, having some fried dough for you. I'm gonna spoon that in there like so. Really get it all good and sugared up. Note to any future beignet eaters, don't inhale the confectioner sugar.
This is kind of exciting for us to be at the Cafe du Monde. It's kind of a world famous place. We feel like we're using famous grease here.
So no gasoline?
No, we just filter it with our sock filter that leaves out all the new particles and stuff. And then as long as it's hot enough and viscous enough, it will be fine for the engine to burn. It basically, diesel engines were originally designed in order to burn peanut. Yeah, and it's really, really clean in the engine too. It doesn't put out any pollutants. So, yeah, definitely. Well, thank you. Yeah.
Do you have to pay people to remove this?
Yeah, that's it. So this is saving us money, actually.
Good. Well,
All this grease is gonna get us to Austin.
Let's increase the density of light so we can travel on it. Let's increase the density of light so we can travel on it.
We are in Lafayette, and we're going on a bayou tour.
we just met this incredible local guy named Devin Martin at Artmosphere, which is the place we played last night.
I can show you a lot of what's going on with erosion, coastal erosion, and
That's what I'm especially.
oh yeah, definitely. That would be very easy. And at the very end of it is Baton Rouge, which is like Gotham City. Like I said, this is the front lines. The front lines of what's going on, industrialism, what industrialism has really done to the world. This is one of the best places in America to come and see firsthand. These bayous are ancient channels of the Mississippi that it has taken over time. And it changes course. Actually, it would have changed course about 50 years ago, and the Mississippi would now be running down the Atchafalaya, which flanks the Atchafalaya Basin, runs down into Morgan City, which we'll be passing through. But they dammed it all up so that its course would continue the traditional Mississippi for shipping reasons. That's one of the main causes of coastal erosion, is the fact that they dammed and leveed up the river. The fact that all these people are living in cities like New Orleans and Kenner and Metairie and living along the Mississippi and relying on those shipping channels and relying on those levees for them to have solid ground that's not inundated by floods every year. Those levees has actually caused the river to quit flooding. And the floods are the only, it's like Egypt, the floods they bring the fertility, they bring not only fertility, but they bring land, they bring ground, and without those floods, the ground just sinks. But letting the river take its course would destroy a lot of human populations. Personally, I think they just ought to do it. People just have to, you cannot force nature to do what it doesn't want to do. You have to let it take its course. you can only do it for so many hundreds of years. Eventually, it's going to do it at once anyway. We're like welfare dependent on oil and gas revenues for our state legislature and our government to run. The only reason our government runs is because we get oil and gas revenues. If we were to tax the people couldn't afford it. That's why I say Louisiana really operates a lot like a third world country. Most of the revenues are being directed to big cats, big corporations that don't exist here. See these, okay, this gas plant, so there are pipelines that crisscross this whole area. And they constantly get big holes in them, they leak chemicals. And when we'll go to the beach, I'll show you, I mean, it's pretty sad. My dad said when he was young, the beach stretched for about a quarter mile or more in places. And it was just a huge, huge beach. And now, I mean, there's hardly any of it left. Every time a storm hits, there's less and less beach. This island is eroding fast. And I don't think it's gonna be here for too much longer, actually. Everybody in Louisiana has a friend or a relative who works offshore. A lot of them don't even produce anymore. They're funk. Some of them aren't even banned. Good days, you can see these purple clouds that'll stretch for about 50 miles. And if you're coming in from Lafayette, you can trace the purple clouds. Trace them, trace them, trace them, trace them, trace them, and they all originate here. It's like these huge, long, extended purple clouds. Huh? Here's an oil refinery. Goddamn iron citadels. I used to tell kids in college, man, you guys like to read fantasy books, you like to read all this stuff about elves and trolls and knights and all this fantasy stuff, man. Live real life. There are evil citadels. Be a knight, be an elf. Just fight this shit, you know? There are evil castles all over this state. Let's go and get them, you know? Don't lose yourself. The books are cool for a reason. It's to, like, get your soul going.
We're gonna be going a little bit more gangbusters in terms of all the next places. We got to get to them faster, and I'm excited about that. I'm kind of ready to pick up the pace a bit. And I've never been to Texas, so I'm always excited about a place I ain't never seen before.
I've been very, very impressed with the people here in Louisiana. I've been really saddened by this place. And also talking with Devin, his sentiments about the raping of Louisiana by oil and gas industry people. You know, when you've lived your life having nothing and being poor, and you've lived your life working like a damn fool, I can understand the seductive power of oil and gas money, but it breaks my heart to see what it's done to this place. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to hear Julia shout frog capital of the world. No, I'm sad to leave Louisiana, but I'm excited to go to Texas and see what's happening there. It's a good tour because you never know what is up ahead. So
Devin is a genius, pretty much. I have been thoroughly wowed about his knowledge of everything relating to the bayou, all the environmental, social, historical, cultural, just threads that all run together down here. And man, he's my hero.
I mean, the impression I have of Devin is that he knows so much about this area and he is so terribly concerned about what's going to happen, but he is staying there through thick and thin. And as somebody who hasn't been back home since she left for college, it definitely struck a chord with me.
See this bolt right
Oh,
here?
yeah.
That's our culprit.
So what we had was a hole in our coolant return hose, which was causing our coolant level to, of course, drop. It was a pretty sizable leak.
Most
awkward.
Oh shit. We couldn't put the tubing over the tape, right?
And what we did was we took 2 lengths of hose and sliced them and then covered over the leak and faced each other, you know, put one on one side, one on the other, and then clamped it down.
You're so hardcore.
God damn it!
No.
Here, I'll wipe your mouth.
Lift it up.
Yeah, I'll lift it.
Here we go. Oh, I got it. Here we go.
It seems like the flow has been staunched, so we with the clamp, and now Julia is zip tying it away from the bolt that caused the problem in the first place, so that we don't have any more rub. Yes, we've learned a few things. We've learned that coolant tastes good, but it's painful in the eyes. Yeah. All right. Is that good enough?
Hey, yeah, I could work for NASCAR.
I have to say that we have done an amazingly thrifty job of traveling around the country. We have only spent a total of, well, on group things like filters, diesel, accommodations, things we've shared amongst ourselves. Our grand total is $378. And that's amazing for a month-long road trip because we could have been spending that much in gas pretty much every other day had we not used veggie oil. I'm very happy with our financial situation right now. That doesn't account for personal things like our own drinks, our own food, but that's kind of all that stuff that went up my nose. Yeah, that was pretty hefty expense-wise, but you know. Everybody else has benefited from my energy though, so I kind of think we should split it.
So, I'm really excited to play for a small crowd because it makes me feel like I'm at home. My name is Wired Massey. I own this place. Okay, this is what happens when you don't drink booze beforehand. Like Mommy was saying. Sorry, Mom. Okay. I'm gonna play a song called Song of the Dying for a lively audience. Is playing somewhere at 8 o'clock. Grown in the womb when she was 18, and souls. I'm gonna start over.
Hey, we're in town. What can you tell us about Austin? And so Dave suggested that we go check out this Center for Sustainable Architecture that is affiliated with the University of Texas, I believe.
The Center for Maximum Potential Building Systems. The hope, I guess, is that, like a virus, if you changed one part, that it would become endemic. It's called open building design. All the materials have some story. These doors are made from cedar fibers and old milk cartons. You can see here there's conduit inside of the rebar. Everything has to be convertible. The whole building is completely disassemblable. Evacuated tubes, they have copper filaments, and it is the water heater. But all of the ceiling are actually cabinets. This is the place where I think the most learning happens, because you see the plan and you talk about the plan and you enjoy that part, but until you come down to the point where you're actually making cuts and welds and then trying to fit those pieces, and when the pieces say no, it's irrefutable. Everyone's confidence is very high when you're on a paper in a conversation, but when the materials say no, you have to respect that you have to change. You get a lot of freedom and responsibility, but the realization of just the simple things. Once a person can do that, just find the confidence to weld, and also the knowledge that you planned this to fit with a big picture, you've connected yourself to an idealism that will inspire you. You've changed, and you'll be able to try anything. I thought, oh no, I can't change my brakes because I'm not a mechanic. And then I realized, no, I can change my brakes because you go A, B, C. It's only been 3 generations since everyone was doing all of their own work, to the point now where we are so backwards, it won't happen without the confidence of the small chores. It was hard to see everyone go to New York and come back, or go, to wherever they were going to pursue their art, because I thought maybe there was something more and I should go too. And the more I looked around, the more I realized that Austin was a great size and the center was the best place. But that ultimately, if I wanted to see the center succeed or Sun Young's studio continue, I would have to be what I would call a homegirl and stay here. And it's almost as if the people who say you come from India and you're on a scholarship and you study, and they want you to come back home and put your studies to use. Some people don't come back home. So I realized that if I studied here and I gained the knowledge, why not stay here and practice it? So every year you can find me. There's a lot of tour schedules that I uphold, and I do this open house here, and I work, but I realize now that it might be an honorable thing to stay. It's interesting. You don't expect your belonging to sneak up on you, but it has, perhaps.
After 3 days of searching in Texas, we found some acceptable grease, we think.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't exactly sealed. It's clear, it's a little bit dark. It smells good. It's good stuff. This must be Hunan Gardens. How many, check this morning? Like 5 or 6 maybe.
Black gold, Texas tea.
The woman who I talked to at the donut shop was like, oh, well, let me talk to Lee in the back. And this guy who does the donuts, I explained to him the grease, and he was like, no. You cannot put that in your vehicle. And I was like, I know it seems that way, but there's new technology that allows me to put what you fry your donuts into my car. And he was like, he didn't believe me. He still didn't believe me.
We're doing not so great on veg right now. We are about 70 miles south of Amarillo, and we just changed both filters, and we're still having problems with like the dirty sounding engine or the lugging, and I don't really know why exactly, but I think we're gonna make it to Tulia
Texas, and then we're going to fill up the veg tank with our strained veggie oil. And I would like to propose that we maybe look for some new veggie oil in Amarillo, if we find we have the time for it.
We are like using no veg right now because the veg we put in earlier today was so bad that we're probably gonna have to like siphon it out of the veg tank. Texas was and probably mostly our fault, but overall a very disappointing place in terms of getting grease. I forgot about how much we got today because this is how much we got. This will fill up one of the filters that we need to like change.
And the oil looks not terrible. I mean, it doesn't look like. To me, it doesn't look that much darker than other stuff we get.
We could bleed it all out into a bucket and then at least start fresh. Because because I'm with Julia. I think this oil is so bad that honestly throwing good diesel after the bad oil is doing us no good. Because I've already put like probably $10 worth of diesel in that tank. I think that it's so useless to us that it's really all. I mean, my feeling from Julia and her experience driving, I will put the blinkers on and go 20 miles an hour if I have to. But I think that I'm kind of with Julia here that it seems like it's so frustrating that it's dying. That the engine is wanting to die at this point. Is that correct, Julia?
It's like usually it'll do the like stutter, but it like plummets on this.
I'm almost as bothered by the coolant loss as anything, really.
All right.
Because fine. It just, the leak place is dry every time I've touched it today at the rest stop.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, you guys want to try to like bilge pump it out of the tank?
I think that what seems like it is that we're gonna get all this out of the Ladyhawke, almost like putting the like when people eat something poisonous and they give them like the charcoal drink to make them throw it all up. But we're getting this crap veg out, putting diesel in, seeing if it's working in that tank at all. I think if you form. There's something about Texas where everyone there wants to use every resource that is available. And a couple of the places that we stopped in to look for grease, the restaurant manager at one particular restaurant had already converted his car to running on veggie oil, so there was none for us.
Yeah, the last stretch has been kind of demoralizing.
So we were just at a radio station in Taos, New Mexico, and someone who works at the radio station took interest in what we were doing and let us know about this gentleman named Miguel who runs an acequia, which is, I guess, a compound where he lives in New Mexico, where he has his farm from native seeds that he's grown.
I'm Julia.
Julia.
Nice to meet you.
Mavi.
Nice to meet you, Miguel.
Good to meet you too. Come in if you want to excuse a mess. Well, you know, usually when people start talking about sustainability, the first thing they start talking to you about is energy. Okay, and that's great. But actually, to me, what that is that's like an excuse, or that's coming from fear that we're not going to be able to maintain all of our little electronic gadgets. Right? Because people out in sustainability that I was talking about, there's got to be a way we can be sustainable but still maintain our quality of life, they say, or our standard of living. But to me, you know, we shouldn't be talking about energy until you finish talking about food. You know, the bottom line to me is if you want to be sustainable, show me your relationships. You know, because like I know you guys were just out at the Earthships. I love all that technology. I think it's cool. Solar panel, recycling the water. But where are the relationships? See, me, I have an acequia out here. So I have to work with my entire community. If I need something, I know where to go. If they need something, they know where to go. We have a relationship, a fabric in this community. And no, you don't see solar panels and all kinds of stuff in Cañon. You don't see that. But I'll tell you, if it goes down tomorrow, we're going to be more of a sustainable community here than any Earthship out there. Why? Because of the relationships. Because we have always needed each other as human beings, and we're always going to need each other. And you can't think because you can afford all that technology and you can create your little sustainable bubble that you're going to be sustainable. Because you can never escape the fact that you need your neighbor. So you want to check out the situation or what? Let's start over here because this is where it all begins. See, this is where my water comes out. We'll follow it backwards. So this is the acequia. This is not the acequia madre. The acequia madre is over there where those trees are. And that's how you can always tell the acequias, is because the acequias create this expanded riparian zone. So I block it here and then the water goes down here. See, so if you want to tell me what sustainability really looks like, show me your hands after an acequia cleaning. Blisters and calluses is what sustainability looks like. And if you're not willing to do that, then it ain't sustainable. Because the fact of the matter is human beings are stewards of this land, and we have to take care of this land, and taking care of the land is work. And people always say, well, you know, give me the 101. How do I get started? Get started. That's it. I'm not going to tell you how to work land, put seed, irrigate, how to understand that whole process any more than I'm going to tell you how to get in a relationship or get married. Everybody has to do that on their own. It's a fundamental thing about being human, which is what is your relationship with the land and the water and the seeds. And there's no one right way to do it. If we're going to sustain ourselves as human beings and get through what's coming, we have to be attached to each other and this land. Most animals in this world, most organisms understand they have their instruction, they know what to do, they know how to be what they are. We are the only ones who have free will, and we don't know what to do with ourselves. So to me, what this sustainability movement is for me, and what I think it should be for everyone else, is for us to define our place on this planet, our ecology. So I'm from here. And I really identify, and we have a term for that. We call it querencia, you know, and that could be translated to a sense of place, a love of place, a love of your homeland, but it's an attachment.
See the water in them, and my pupils started pouring out into themselves, pouring out into themselves.
David James and his wife at a farmer's market. They cultivate and sell grass-finished organic beef and pork, and he said that he'd be happy to have us over to his farm.
Everything we do is based on grass. No equipment, no fertilizers, no insecticides, no pesticides, just pure grass. So shall we just drive around and we'll go down there and see what we can see? Okay, now these are cattle that will be processed before the middle of October. All these cattle will be into cuts. So we just keep them on this grass. They keep growing. They're growing like mad. They're growing as fast here as if they were in a feedlot. But the key is that I'm growing topsoil. So my legacy is going to be that we cause the ground to rise. There's just no end to the work. But it's a quality of life decision that we've made. And if I was trying to build a fortune, you know, I couldn't do it this way. But I think there's things that are more important than that, and, you know, personally, and having my grandkids here is very important to me. Our idea of quality of life is to live like this, eating fresh, good, wholesome food, and living where the air is clean, but we don't necessarily have a big income. You know, and the land has become valuable, but you have to sell the land to have the income, so we don't really have a big income. We don't need a big income because this is our quality of life. We're happy here. I don't know why it is I'm spending so much time with you guys, but I'm happy to do it. But I'm just, you just caught me, I guess, when I felt like it.
We are on our way to Mancos, and Katie knows a mechanic in Mancos who is gonna take a look at the Ladyhawke. We've been running really, really slow up the mountains to Durango, and we've been running pretty much exclusively on diesel since Taos. So that's shitty. And we're hoping that once whatever's wrong with the diesel system is fixed, that the grease will work better. We're thinking there's some sort of valve that's not sealing, and it's just like we're going up the hill right now, and we're going 25 miles an hour. And the Ladyhawke once did 70 on grease up the hill from Raceland back to Lafayette, so she's definitely hurting. So we're hoping that this mechanic can cure what ails her, because it's going to be a big loss of face for me to pull into Grand Junction with a non-functioning grease conversion. I think for all of us, we want to show off to our parents the miracle of our bravery and fortitude, and if it's not working, I'm gonna feel like a real horse's ass. Fluid-wise, oh, well, we also are just mysteriously leaking coolant. Like every 20 or 30 miles or so, we'll stop and check the radiator, and it will have lost like a gallon of coolant. And oil, we also have an oil leak. We are constantly kind of topping off the oil, and it's going somewhere too, so I don't know, it's not looking good. The exhaust is black. The exhaust is every time we start up, we emit a giant billowing cloud of black particulate. She's gotten us this far. I think that's to be celebrated. And I think she'll get us further yet. We got these friends of Katie's family to take a look at it, and they were able to help us solve our diesel issue, as well as temporarily fix our oil issue, although I guess we have a cracked head gasket, which I've heard that before. You hear anything wrong with your head gasket, and there's crashing of thunder and ominous organ music.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up all the way from Brooklyn, New York, the Break Free Project.
I feel a little bittersweet about it because this has been such a completely unique experience. And even if we do the tour again, we're never gonna do it exactly this way again. So that's always a little bit melancholy. Like listening to like the desert wind kind of blowing through the Ladyhawke. It's really kind of a sort of shocking thing because I didn't even know if we were gonna make it here. But in any case, the Ladyhawke has been good to us, really, in my opinion. Much better than I expected her to be.
I think for as hard and fast as we've been going, this is exactly when I need to be out of the Ladyhawke, for sure. This tour has really brought home for me that
where I belong is Colorado, and all these small towns. You know, we spend all this time praising small towns and celebrating small town culture, and I think I was just kidding myself in New York, and you know, coming home to Colorado, it's like this is this is what all the little animals along the way in the South were trying to tell me, and now it all makes sense now that I've come home to my own hometown. That's where I belong. I like New York, but I think I'm just not feeling it. I think I wanted to feel it for the 2 years that I've been there, but as soon as we got into Taos and are now in Colorado, you know, like the landscape and the people, Durango especially, just it was like glaringly obvious that every time I come home to Colorado, everything just like really radiates with energy, and I just feel a lot of purpose here, and I think it's something that I thought I was just nostalgic, or you know, I grew up here, I went to college here, but I think that's what the end of this tour means for me, is just a sense of belonging.
Thank you. We're the Breakthrough Project.
Like, yeah, you can see my grandparents' house from here. You can see my aunt and uncle's hayfields from here. Welcome to lovely Mac. Mac, Colorado. It's a left. But I guess you could just park here in this little bare spot, yeah. And then our house is right down in here. Yes! It is! Hi! We made it all the way! Give me a squeeze! How are you?
I'm good now.
Good!
Oh,
this
my.
is Julia!
I'm
so happy to meet you.
I've heard so many wonderful things.
I feel like
about
I know you, and I know this little
me
girl.
too.
Oh, that Marvy. Oh,
You did it.
you did it.
Yeah.
Man with the gun, well, he tells of his dreams where skin made of magic, it rips at the seams. Now for the mother Thank you very much.